Hey guys, welcome back to my GasGas channel. Hey guys, welcome. Today I'm just going to go over changing the front brake pads on a GasGas. Now I have to change my brake pads because in the previous video that I did about my forks leaking, that left fork seal was leaking so bad that it leaked onto my pads. And it just soaked the pads, and it was making the brakes real squishy. It was just kind of sliding, not stopping really well like I'm used to. So, because of that shoddy work that happened on my bike that I had to redo, I've got to replace the brake pads. And it's probably time for them anyways. They've been on there for quite a while. So, okay, today, tools I'm using is number 5 Allen wrench, and that's to take the pin out of the front caliper. You can do it with the front tire on the bike. There's no need to jack it up and take off the front tire. You know, it's just creating more work. So you can just undo the caliper and pull them off right there. And then I've got my 10mm socket to take the caliper off. Normally from the factory, I think there were like a 13, but I lost one of those bolts on a caliper in the last enduro that I did, and I'll show you what happened to my caliper. And I also wound up the front brake, binding, and I went over the handlebars on a rocky, loose downhill. Also, I use thread lock because I don't want to lose another bolt, especially in the front brake pads. And to spread the pads apart, I like to use my small tire iron. It's this tire spoon or whatever you want to call it. It's rounded and doesn't have any sharp edges on it. And it's wide enough that you can just pop it in there and spread those pads apart. The brake pads that I'm going to be using are Tusk, which I believe that's like what, Rocky Mountain brand. It's their in-house brand. I bet if you did a search, you'll probably find that probably one of the more popular brands like EBC or somebody like that makes these for Rocky Mountain. There's only a few companies that actually can make brake pads. Okay, first thing you want to do before you pull these bolts off and pull your caliper off, you make it easy for yourself. Break this pin bolt loose. Like I said, it's a number 5 Allen head. There we go. That's all you got to do for now. Just break that loose a little bit. I'm using my super cool shaft, see-through shaft, whatever they're called, I don't know. Like I said, I bought these like 20 years ago at Ace, and like they're like the huge popular thing right now. I had these for years. I've had them so long, one of them's actually starting to wear out, the smaller one. Alright, you can see where I've used a thread lock before on these. And I'll get a wire brush, I'll clean those up. Oh, also one thing I didn't show you that I have is this little sandpapery silicone stuff. And I'll show you what I use that for later on. Easy peasy. And watch this. See? Just spread those apart like so. Okay. And now the pin that we broke loose earlier. It's gonna come right out. There you go. Your pads just fall right out. Okay, we've got our old pads out. and we're going to put our new pads in. But first, I was going to show you what happened to the caliper when that bolt came loose. Okay, you look right there, you can see where that top bolt, the bottom bolt was lost, and then it just rotated on that top bolt and dug into the brake caliper, and that's what caused the front to bind, and it's also causing the brakes to stick, and caused me to go over the bars at the Campwood Enduro. Okay, I was going to show you what to do with this little piece of silicone like sanding paper. This pin will get real dirty. This is not terrible, so I just take this little sandpaper here and just clean it up a bit. You can also take a wire brush too, and if you have one that fits in a drill, bit, that'll make short work of it. I know there's some people I've heard that put grease on this pin too. I guess you could do that. I never have. One thing you want to check for this pin also, before you put it back in, just inspect your parts on the bike. Once you get them out, you want to check if there's any grooves where these pads ride along, because this is what's going to hold the pads in, and those pistons, when they push the pad in, they're going to slide along this pin ever so slowly as your pads wear out. More and more piston it needs to push it to apply brake. So just check for any grooves, wear marks on it, and if it's grooved too badly, Moose makes a pin for these, which is, can't remember the part number. I'll look it up and I'll post it on this video. I think that the pin's different. It's not an Allen head. It's a socket head, and it's pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's put in these new pads. All right. Okay, just gonna slide them in like so. There you go. Okay, let's get those in. We'll spread it apart. Ta-da. All right, just want to slide that right on in there. Okay, now I cleaned up my bolts already. I have a wire wheel, so I took some of that thread lock off that was all dried and hardened on there. There's still a little bit in there, but it's not gonna hurt anything. So let's get a little bit of thread lock on the first bolt here. Just like so. I know there's some guys gonna be watching the video going, oh my gosh, that's too much thread lock, or oh my gosh, you'll hear the other half going, that's not enough thread lock. There you go. A little bit more, that bottom. All you want to do is just coat those threads, and when you screw it in, it's going to start spreading that around too. Okay? Don't go nuts with it. Don't be too conservative. You can tell I'm left-handed. I'm actually ambidextrous, so whatever side it works on. Now, okay, let's tighten up this pin. Do not forget to tighten this pin out. You don't want this pin to back out on a ride. You'll lose your pads. Okay, so I didn't find a torque value on that pin. So let's go just kind of hand tight. Just like so. I've never lost that pin yet. That's wood. These bolts right here, they do have a torque value of 18 foot-pounds. Now, all you Euros, I think it was 25 nanometers. I don't know. Go look it up yourself. I'm not a metric guy. So, let's see. 18 foot-pounds. There's 15. There we go. There's one. And there's two. Okay. And you know what? I'm just going to double check. And there we go. All right. Now, you've changed your front brake pads. Let me flip this around so you can see my ugly mug. Okay guys, that was really simple. It was really easy. Maybe took 10 minutes. It'd be even faster if I wasn't sitting here yapping my head off to you, doing step by step. So now you know how to do your own brake pads. You're gonna spend 20, 30 bucks on pads and 30 minutes max of your time at home in your own garage. So you don't have to go and pay some bike mechanic who's gonna charge you 80 bucks an hour to change brake pads. So you've done it. Job well done. Go out and ride and have fun. And as always, guys, subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and I welcome any comments, good or bad. Ah.